Nightmare Areola, and you're watching Mission Boxing Today on YouTube.
Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? All right, so Andrew Ruiz Jr. has not said anything about any type of potential fight or who he's going to fight next. I haven't heard from him since I'm going to say about a few weeks after the fight with Joseph Parker, and he came out and he was saying that he's going to take advantage of, having a great training camp with Abel Sanchez, and he was going to get back up and go to Big Bear in the middle of January. All right, so I haven't heard anything from him since that video that I did when I read that article. I think I got the article from Fight News or Boxing Scene. But anyways, I haven't heard anything. But when you look at Andy Ruiz, he's in a good position right now, man, as far as where he's rated by two of the sanctioned bodies that I'm paying attention to. The WBC, he's rated number 5 now, and then by the WBO, he is, oh man, I want to say he's number 5. I think they have David Haye, Fury, Hammer, Miller, and Ruiz. So, okay, let's start with the WBO. So David Haye is crossed out because he just lost to Tony Bellew. So when these rankings change, I don't expect him to be there. Hughie Fury is getting the title shot with Parker. All right, so then to figure out who the new mandatory is going to be for the WBO, you would think, if we're trying to use logic and you think, and if we go by those guys still being rated in that same order, I wouldn't see why. Maybe they may have Ruiz jump over Miller, maybe, but I don't see that those next 3 guys changing in the rankings. So you would think the WBO would get some type of eliminator fights, or just have or order a fight between Christian Hammer, Jarrell Miller, or Ruiz. 2 out of those 3, however they want to do it, or probably possibly make 2 out of those 3 an eliminator, then match the odd guy out with somebody else in the rankings and make another eliminator. You know what I mean? Something, man, to get something going. So I want to see how that works out, but Ruiz is a name that's in the mix. Then you look at the WBC, where you have Staverne's number 1. He's going to get the title shot. Ortiz is number 2. He is the WBA's mandatory. I guess, we're going to see how all this stuff works out, but he is the mandatory. 3 is Pulev. 4 is Dillian White. 5 is Ruiz again. So again, he's at that number 5 range, where that's enough to where you possibly can get an eliminator fight, a good competitive eliminator fight of some sorts for this title shot. Dillian White's already fought an eliminator with Chisora. He's called out Dominic Brazil. I think Brazil was like at number 11 the last I checked, but he's going to move up after this win. It was a good win, a valuable win. So I see him moving up. And Gerald Washington lost, and he was in the top 10. So I see the WBC rankings changing a little bit when they refresh them. So just speculation right now, man. But I'm just looking at, I was just wondering, what's up with Andy. Haven't heard anything. So, but he is in a good position, man. Hopefully he can come back right to a competitive fight. I don't think he needs to take a warm-up fight or stay busy fight. I'm curious to see if his team, I know he's with Top Rank, if they're going to try to see if these sanctioned bodies are going to try to order some type of, eliminators. The WBC, since they gave Stavern the mandatory, I'm curious to see how they're going to figure out their next mandatory, or are they just going to give it to the guy that has the number 1 ranking? Will it be Ortiz? I guess we'll figure it out. And then the WBO, same thing. You know what I mean? Who's going to be the mandatory over there? Will it be the guy that's just rated has the highest rankings, or are they going to have somebody fight for it? And for me, I think you should always have some type of mandatory, a fight to determine who's going to fight for the title. That's how I would like it to be. Sometimes it's not always like that, and that's just been in history. So it's not just something that's happened now. I mean, it's always been like that. But I prefer eliminators. You know what I mean? At least 4 guys in eliminator. They fight in 2 different fights, and the winner fight each other, and the winner of that fights for the title. While the title holder is fighting the original mandatory, but to figure out the next mandatory, I think they should fight for it. It just shouldn't be the guy that's rated number 1. But I guess it's just different circumstances, right? You know, Luis Ortiz, we can make an exception for him. You know, I mean, there's some guys you can make an exception for, you know, but most of the time, though, I like to see eliminators, you know, but like I said, you make exceptions sometimes for some guys. You know, if a guy was to, you know, vacate his title and then he came back and wants a rematch, say he set out because of an injury or he just went away from the sport for a year or so and he came back, something, you know, there's exceptions, but usually though, man, when there's a lot of guys that still trying to, you know, build their resumes and work their way up, I think guys like that should be fighting in eliminator type of fights, especially if it's a guy that's like a prospect level trying to, you know, burst onto the contender scene. Just my opinion. You guys let me know what you think about Andrew Ruiz, his chances. Who do you see him fighting? Who would you like to see him fight? I mean, you can pretty much put Ruiz in there with anybody. Arthur Spilka, Dominic Brazil, Gerald Washington, Brian Jennings, Christian Hammer, Jarrell Miller, Dillian White, anybody. You know, hopefully he's in here by at least the summertime. I haven't heard anything for the spring, at least the summer. I don't think it should go past the summer. Even if they got to put him in there with just somebody to get some rounds. Don't want them stagnant, man. Don't want them stagnant. But you guys let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm out.